Okay, guys, welcome back to a new video here. And we got some pretty crazy news coming out that Joe Biden, yes, Joe Biden, 80-year-old Joe Biden, who crumbled at the debate, he regrets dropping out of the 2024 presidential race. He regrets endorsing Harris. And get this, he thinks he could have beaten Trump. What? Guys, that is so insane. The fact that he actually is saying this publicly, and again, it's not publicly, but obviously people in his camp are leaking this to the press. Biden, obviously by design, leaked this to the press for this to get out. And it's a pretty wild thing to say because according to a lot of the Biden team's internal numbers, they had Trump winning by 400 plus electoral votes in the Biden team's internal numbers. And Biden thinks he would have won. Again, of course, Kamala did not win either, and I'm sure Biden's probably thinking, "You got to be kidding me!" On election night, he could just picture that, and honestly, I think a part of him is probably happy that she lost because he can probably say to himself, "You know what? I probably can win." And again, to be fair to him, a lot of these presidents are narcissists; they think they can do anything. But the fact that Biden thinks he could have won in his current condition, I just think it's completely ridiculous. And the story is pretty wild too. And one thing he actually does say as well that I completely agree with, he regrets picking Merrick Garland for Attorney General. And of course, many on the right wing would criticize Merrick Garland for actually prosecuting Trump. But a lot of Democrats and Biden, it seems, is also taking this lane is that they didn't prosecute Trump early enough. The reason why he's been able to skate off all these criminal charges and why he was able to basically have no trial before the election is because it took 2 years to actually bring charges to Trump. So, and he regrets picking him for that exact reason, which I think is totally fair. I think it's ridiculous. I think Merrick Garland has done a terrible job as Attorney General. How the hell do you wait 2 years after January 6th to bring charges in hopes of actually taking him down? It's totally ridiculous, guys. But again, this is the story is from The Guardian as well, and it's being corroborated by a number of different media sources. And by the way, guys, if you're enjoying the content, we continue to grow at a really good rate. I signed up with Amazon Affiliate, so there's a link in the description. If you want to buy any of those products that I use, it gives me a commission, and it helps the channel out. If you guys want to do that, my TikTok's in the description as well. And make sure to like and subscribe. It's super good for the algorithm. So if you guys want to do that, it'll help the channel very much. So thank you guys so much. And furthermore, with the Biden thing, guys, is that the reason why they're leaking this now is to try and sort of create a legacy that's not really there for Biden. Let's be honest. Unfortunately, Biden's legacy is going to be a lot of his foreign policy issues, which, you know, there's vast criticism on Gaza. There's going to be vast criticism on Afghanistan, even though I think many on the left and myself, I kind of think leaving Afghanistan was the right decision. There's no question. But the way it's framed in mainstream media is that it was a terrible thing, even though I don't think that's necessarily true. But there's going to be a lot of criticism of Biden because of how it all ended, not dropping out early enough, not allowing for a real primary, which is probably why the Democrats lost. That's how he's going to be remembered for the most part. And even on domestic policy, even though he did a lot of beneficial things with domestic manufacturing, actually bringing in a lot of jobs and creating jobs, being a relatively progressive president compared to many other Democrats, I still don't think it's going to matter just because of how he went out the door. I really believe that, guys. I think it's unfortunate. I think the reason why they're leaking this, first of all, why would you do this now? Like, what does a story like this help you? It makes no sense to me. And the article is pretty wild. So the U.S. president reportedly also said he made a mistake in choosing Merrick Garland as Attorney General, reflecting that Garland, a former U.S. appeals court judge, was slow to prosecute Donald Trump 100%. And again, I think this honestly, guys, could be more also. I mean, I didn't even think of this, for prosecuting Hunter Biden, his son. So, of course, there's going to be a big factor in why he wouldn't want him. But again, he pardoned him anyway, so I'm not sure why that would be that big of a deal. The president stepped aside to be replaced by his party's nominee, by the U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris, after mounting pressure from Democrats. And again, I also think it's interesting, guys. Yeah, he might regret endorsing Harris, but according to many sources in Washington, the Nancy Pelosi's of the world, a lot of top Democrats did not want Joe to endorse Kamala. They didn't want that at all. They wanted an open convention, which is what I wanted as well, guys. I think it would have been a quote-unquote more democratic process, and it just would have evaded a lot of criticism from Republicans that, oh, the Democrats, they don't support democracy, blah, blah, blah. Okay. But listen, Joe endorsed Kamala because that's what he wanted. It's a fact. It's a fact. The view disputed by many Harris supporters who blame the president for waiting too long before withdrawing, thus leaving the vice president with little time to mount an effective campaign. Yeah, it's 100% true, but it's also true that he didn't have to endorse her, and she might not have been the nominee if he didn't endorse her. Because some people think she would have won anyway, but he would have been if she didn't get Biden's endorsement, it would have been a cataclysmic look for her. She would have been severely handicapped, and I'm not sure she could have recovered from it. They also point out that Biden's determination to seek a second term violated his 2020 campaign vow to be a transitional figure who would pass the torch after one term. This is 100% true. The understanding when Biden was first elected, guys, was that he was probably only going to go for one term. That was pretty much the understanding a lot of people in Washington had at the time. And listen, what I think happened is I think he became president, he got power, and as many people do, once they achieve a certain amount of power and legacy, they don't want to give it up, even though it might not be best for the country. I think it's a clear example here. Again, it's not the same thing, obviously, but you saw it with Trump, where he basically uh, incited a riot, many would say, to stay in power in his last election. People do not want to leave power once they are there. But again, I think it's a shame that this is coming out now. It only hurts the Democrats' case more. It makes the Democrats look more in disarray. Which, listen, I mean, once Biden leaves office, his influence in the party is going to be extremely minimal, especially at his age. But again, it's just stunning. It's just stunning that Biden regrets dropping out of the race. Biden regrets dropping out of the race. It's a pretty wild story, guys. I'm curious what you guys think in the comments. Let me know. And again, make sure to like and subscribe if you like the content. Let me continue to like. It's very strong for the algorithm. So, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys soon.